Mic check, 1 2 1 2. How is everyone doing? Welcome to episode 148 of the Saturday Morning Stand Up, where we talk Splinterlands. Anything you want to talk about? Of course, the big news this week is the Escalation mini set pre-sale going live. We can talk about that or whatever you're doing in Splinterlands. Like I have to do my land collection right up front. I was thinking about not doing this episode, and I'm just really being real with you. This has been an extremely crappy week for me. For those of you who have followed the channel for a while, my dog Magnolia, or Maggie for short, was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney failure. So we're starting to process that and have to deal with that. And yesterday, Friday, I've found out that I'm most likely being lined up to be laid off next week. So I thought about not having the episodes, but I'm like, well, I might as well. It might get me in a better mood talking to everybody about the game. So anyway, with that said, I have not done a lot in Splinterlands this week. In fact, I am kind of in default on collecting my land for the week, so we need to do this. So it looks like my Archmage bot kicked in with a match here, and you know what I was noticing this season has been tougher on my cards. It looks like I'm not even going to finish in Champ 3. It looks like I'm going to finish in Champ 1. But let's go ahead and watch this battle as we are diving into chat. But thanks everybody for dropping by. Crypto Beaver's here. Welcome, Beaver. Alex B's here. Alex B says, still have cards, don't play. Well, thanks for dropping by to talk, Alex, at least. Hope you're doing well. Crypto Beaver says, how many escalation packs are you planning to get? Me, 0. Not that I have anything against the pack set, but I've shifted my money, what my money is going into the land game. And the week before last, I made a fairly big purchase in the land game, equaling probably more than $100. For me, that's a big amount of money to put into a game. But I had bought a rare parcel of land with a grain farm on it and outfitted it with cards, and the DEC needed to run it and everything. So if you're wondering how much it costs to stake out land, it cost me about $100. That includes putting the common totem on it as well. Yeah, I'm not going to buy any of the packs, really, because my focus is on land currently. And I've talked to it before, you know, in this game, unless you're an extremely rich person, you can't, if you try to focus on everything, meaning everything, quote unquote, meaning the card game play, like say you want to play in wild, or say you want to play in modern and be competitive, that's a lot of money there for the newer cards, right? Or if you want to play in land, that's a lot of money there too. So most of us have to make a decision, where do you want to play? And this match looks like it's coming down to the very end. Who's going to win? I'm kind of, I think I'm going to lose here. Yeah, I lost. Yeah, that's I'm losing a lot lately. So yeah, I don't even think we've got less than a day left in this season. And you'll note that if you go under the update section here, that survival starts up next season, which is tomorrow. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm not doing well this season. I've only made it to Diamond 1, and I'm only even halfway through Diamond 1. Usually at this point, I'm into Champ 3. So it will be a less payout for me this time around. And my where is it? I'm under wild season activity. Let's see here. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. I mean, it's kind of about even, but there's, you know, if I had to go through and count, my win average might be about 45% probably. So it looks like the competition has gotten a little stiffer this season. Either way, let's jump back into chat. Don friggin' Knotts is here. Welcome, Don. GTM is here. Gathering the Magic. Good morning. Happy Saturday and happy Valentine's Day. I did remember to do the Valentine's Day duty, and I did remember to order my wife and daughter some Valentine's stuff, and it came in good fashion. And my wife got me a new plant. She got me a big pot of plants, but she got me a little orchid. Last year she got me something similar to this, but it was white. It was a little white orchid. It's to take, and I have it not exactly on my desk because it's kind of sitting on a bookcase behind my desk where it can catch some more sunlight in the office. But and it's doing well. It's actually got a bloom on it. These kind of orchids, if you're interested, they take very little water. They do need a little bit of sunshine. They don't need a lot of sunshine. But I find them very pretty, and they're not huge. They don't take up a whole lot of space, and they don't take a whole lot of water. I just water them once a week. Hello, you've tuned into Bronze Dragon on Plants. Not really, but. And she got me some chocolate-covered pretzels, which I'll probably have one later on. But, yeah, and I did my duty, my Valentine's duty. So, spend some time with the loved ones today. Yeah, we might go out and do something. I don't know what we're doing. I got them some gifts, and if they want to go out and do something, we can go out. But I'm mostly having a crap. So just to not take the whole time up on this, Friday, just being real here, just kind of real life type of thing. If you're in big business, you might have had this happen to you before. I got an email, and it was from somebody about 3 levels above me, maybe 4 levels above me. And I don't do business with this person at all on a weekly basis, right? I heard his name, but I never do business with him, never participate in projects, anything like that. And then my director, or 2, 3 levels above me, pulled into a personal meeting for a quick meeting for a half hour, right? And I'm like, first of all, because there's been a lot of layoffs going around, I didn't like the sound of that. Because if it was for a project or something like that, they'd pull my whole team in, my manager and everything. And then so I told my manager, and then he got one too. And then he asked our director, and our director got one too. So we're all lined up, half-hour interviews back to back to back on this Tuesday. So, me being the pessimist I am, we're theorizing, and the best theory that we have is that we're fixing to bite the big one. So that's why I'm not in a great mood currently. And going forward, I'll have to go into cost-cutting measures so that I'll probably not be spending a whole bunch in Splinterlands until I find another position. But my plans include redoing my CompTIA certifications. I'm an IT guy. I'm a Salesforce guy as well. And I'm going to do the next version of the AI in Salesforce certification. So I have some plans, but it's still just a pain. Gatherings, okay, getting back to Splinterlands and off of me moaning and groaning. Gathering says, more Chaos Pack openings. Picked up 3 packs with my $10 account and won my first modern raffle card this week. Nice, nice. DeFizz is here. Good day, mate. To yourself as well. Welcome, Paul. Thanks for dropping by. Lady Sharon is in the house. Welcome, Sharon. Said good morning. After having a great tournament midweek, I just totally tanked the Friday tournaments. And of course, that is when I was streaming. Well, it happens to the best of us. I don't really stream tournaments. In fact, to tell you the truth, it's been a while since I even played a tournament. I should probably do a few tournaments, but I'm not the best player, to tell you the truth. But it happens to all of us. And in fact, due to the week I've been having, I even forgot to put in my brawls I forgot to even sign up for brawls this week. So yeah, it's been a week. So, and that's not like me because I've been playing for years and years and years. and I can count on one hand how many times I've missed my brawl cycle, right? So, Lady Sharon says, I also entered Bun's art contest this week. Nice. I didn't even know there was art contest, although I'm not the greatest artist, so I probably would not enter it. Um, iBlast is here, says, we are here to support you, buddy. Well, thanks for dropping by. I do appreciate the more the merrier, as we always say. The more people discussing things on a live chat, the better off we are. Or it just goes, it's a nice discussion, right? Gathering says, thoughts and prayers heading your way. My dog is 15 and not doing very well. I understand how you're feeling. Our dog is 13, and she's to all appearances doing okay. She's slowed down over the years, and she's, as we all do. But yeah, she was fixing to go in and have a tooth removed, and we had to take her in, and my wife took her in to get some blood drawn to do the usual tests. And they came back and they said, we can't do the tooth removal because if we put her under, she probably wouldn't wake up. So they found by the blood tests what we're talking about. We're going to take her into a different vet this week and get a secondary opinion. Though, because as with anything medical, it's good to get a second opinion. OFG Plays is in the house. Welcome, OFG. Crypto Beaver says, stay strong, BD. Sending thoughts and prayers to you and your family. Well, I definitely appreciate it. Sharon says, oh, that's not good news. I hope your weekend is better. Well, it's kind of one of those tense things. It's like a weekend, and I even get a day off. We had found out our corporate days off on a yearly basis change all the time. And we found out, my manager and I found out that we have Monday off because of President's Day. And we're like, cool. And then we get this message like, oh, great. We get a long weekend. And then we have to worry about getting laid off right after the long weekend. Coffeeaholics here says, my condolences about your dog. Also getting laid off from work is no fun. Have to stay strong. When life gives us lemons, let's make lemonade. Stay strong and stay focused. You got this. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely daunting. It's one of those things that if I was still drinking, I would have immediately sat down and broke the bourbon out, though. And it's kind of tempting because I have a whole shelf full of decent bourbons in there, but trying to stay strong. Alex B says, you should never lose as long as you've been playing. No, that's the Archmage app that I've been using to play my teams. Just to get, I have it playing in Wild because I'm this guy that I like the game, but ever since I started playing, and I'm just being real here, this is like Bronze Dragon being real day, right? Not that I'm usually fake, but since I started playing the game and spending money on cards, I kind of had this thing in the back of my brain of always wanting to try to get the most out of them and have them continually working for me, right? And so early on in the game, I just played the game, and it was a large use of time for me. And I'm just talking personally. Everybody's got different amounts of times. Time is your most precious resource, and we've all heard this, but you have to choose how to spend that time. And then I got to the point where the Archmage bot came around, and I like the idea of being able to have it play pretty much my account 24/7 and get the most out of what I've put into the game out of it. And I still continue like that. And frankly, I do play my. If you see me in a tournament, that's me playing. If my guild brawls, I play those. So that is my extent of my personal playing of Splinterlands on most times. Now in the past, I have dove in and played the newer modes just to get an idea of what they were. Excuse me, I'm drinking a carbonated beverage, but generally speaking, I let Archmage play my bot or play my game in Wild. And if they ever got to the point where they banned the Archmage bot or any bots like that in Wild as well, I don't know what I would do. I would probably go back to playing, but I would get much less out of the game, and I wouldn't nearly play I wouldn't have the time to play all my the power, or what was it called, energy. Okay. That's a lot said there. OFG says, don't forget to smash that melee button. Yes, please smash the like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Join the channel if you want to help support the channel, all that good stuff. I do appreciate it. Wibble's here. Hello, Splinter Thingies. Doombot is here. DeFizz says, sounds like too many levels to me. Oh, yeah, referring to the business. Yeah, it's the company I work for now. I was working for a much smaller company that got bought up by a big multinational company. And there's such a huge difference in the life, especially in IT, of the a day in the life, so to speak. And I'm not going to continue to talk about it, but it's all siloed, and it's all, hey, that's not my job when you're trying to fix something, and there, it just goes up so many levels, and nobody wants to return emails, and you can tell the frustration level. But Wibble says, sorry to hear that, Mr. Dragon. OFG says, sorry to hear that, man. That can be stressful. I hope the best for you and your family. I do appreciate it. I will hold out some hope. The meeting is to tell you guys he got rid of 2 supervisor levels above you. Well, like I said, I do. I start off that kind of chat with or discussion with the fact that I know I'm a pessimist. And I think that's why my wife and I have worked out so well over the years, because she's an optimist. And we kind of meet in the middle. We agree to disagree, right? OFG says, I've got a 12-year-old pup. She's getting old, but young at heart. I think my dog became old before her time, because she had the, first few years, she was very energetic. She's a blue heeler, very energetic. She liked to go chase the Frisbee and everything like that. But then there hit this point about when she hit about 6 years old, and she's like, yeah, I'm done with that. I'm not doing it. Unless it involves a snack, I'm not doing it. Very smart, though. Preview This is here. Hello, welcome. Thanks for coming. Excuse me. Lady Sharon says, it was actually an amateur contest in Peak D. He's like the new contrast guy. Not sure if you follow that part on Splinterlands Vibes Discord or Splinterlands. I did a Valentine's Day pickle skin with an actual pickle. That sounds funny. No, you know what? I've got to be honest, is that there's so much going on. And one thing I noted is that there, let's pull up Discord here. And I opened up Discord, and mainly where I post is in the video stream content section under Splinterlands channel, and also the newer share on socials. But what I really dig is that it used to be me and Gathering the Magic posting here, and that was pretty much it. And our posts would like alternate, Gatherings and mine, and back and forth. Now we have this ton of different people. Look, Clove posted a couple here. There's Gathering. There's Bolts. Bolts came back. There's Sharon. She's doing it. So we have, and then also if you go up to the share on socials, basically my point is you got Beaker posting, you got Claiborne posting, you've got Blaze posting, and a whole host of a lot other. Here's You Lose Again, a relatively new poster. And then Clove. And basically my point is we have this whole host of people that are actually doing content now for the game, which is great. And it's great for the game because they're basically getting free advertising, right? But that's a nice thing. That's a nice thing. So, but my whole point there was that I seem to talk in circles. My whole point was that I don't have enough time to look at it all. So it's if I miss your particular piece of content, doesn't mean that I'm avoiding it. It's just I didn't have enough time, right? Like I was working out earlier and I was watching a series of like 3 videos that Aftersound had posted this past week talking about the, the state of SPS and how DEC is being detrimental to SPS and stuff like that. And I try to stay away from that kind of chat because I'm not really big into the analysis of tokenomics. I've always said that I didn't think there should be more than 2 tokens in the game, because the more tokens you have, the more everything gets diluted. But I'm not a math guy, right? So we'll leave it at that. Gathering says, sounds like me, old but young at heart. Yeah, that's me too. And sometimes you have to step back and say, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that because I'm a little bit older now. But a lot of people would say that I'm still young at heart because I still cover all types of gaming stuff on my channel. I'm trying to, change it up these days. iBlast asks, when does Rebellion rotate out? It would rotate out when we get the next set announcement, okay? So the next live set that they're going to work on, which is an interesting little point that Aftersound brought up in one of his last videos this week, was that, the whole state of, we can look at Escalation. This is a mini set. It has 10 days left in the pre-sale. Do they have a button that says how many have been sold? And of course, we've got a contest here for how many, how many packs people buy. I thought there was a place where we could see how many packs have been sold. I guess not. I don't know. If anybody knows where to see that. Oh, here we go. So 347,000 are available. So the total was 500,000. I'm just whipping out my calculator here. So 152,000 Escalation packs have sold since this went live a few days ago, right? So my point to the question is that this was a big use of funds from the DAO. The next probably request from the Splinterlands team is going to be, I believe, to make the next, whatever the next major set is, right? And then they have to figure out how they're going to position that and ask for money from the DAO to fund that, right? So overall, that's in a roundabout way of answering your question, is whatever the next major set is called, when that goes live, that is when Rebellion will rotate out. And OFG says, not soon enough. iBlast. Well, let's get through Escalation first, and all the profits, if there are any profits from the Escalation packs, will go to the DAO, as this is fully funded by the DAO. But another thing that was mentioned by Aftersound was the fact that I don't believe any of the big players have really bought their packs yet, because due to the contest, let's get rid of this calculator, due to this pre-sale leaderboard, I think they're waiting until the last, day. I think the main action we'll see will be that last day of sales, right? And they'll, depending upon, I haven't talked to any of them. I don't regularly talk to any of the big guys or women, but they'll probably dig in and try to secure a spot on the leaderboard. Let's see if we can look at the leaderboard currently. But, this is just starting off. Brave Tofu did. Brave Tofu and Vugtus have bought packs. It looks like Vugtus bought 10,000, then Brave Tofu went in and bought 10,001. Okay, and we've got Matt, who went in and bought 5,000, Druid's Blood 4,000, and Jeff opens cards at 3,510. Azarkhan is on the board at 3,200. I don't know J-Man or Kirsten. Any other names that I recognize? There's Lorcas. That's interesting. Lorcas went in on the new set. There's Blaze right up there, 1600 with spot 21. A lot of these other names, Oli Bowls, not really big. There's Sinister. Wow, he went in too. That's big time for Sinister. 1,400 packs. There's Ghostly BG in at 1,381. Chubalet at 1,343. B Jangles at 1,322. A lot of big names on the board. Royal Eagle went in at 1,211. Nate's up there with 1,210. Deuce Crypto. Fat Jimmy. Just picking out the names I recognize. A lot of these names I don't recognize. Sorry, it's not like I'm trying to skip you, but I just don't recognize. So you get the idea. There's Clayboyne there. Tide Pod Oreos. Okay, so we're not going to go through the whole thing. You kind of get the idea. So we'll see how this changes. Usually this changes, and this is going to change probably significantly in the last day of the sale. So Gathering says, are you saving your aura for future land developments, or are you spending it now? Someone told me I'm a pessimist, and I replied, no, I'm not. I have not spent anything. Like I said last week, I believe, every time I get around to trying to do something with my aura, it's already been blasted through by somebody on the top end that is selling it, selling whatever you can make for half the price what I can make it for. So I have not done anything different this week. Like I said, I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to the game. In fact, I do need to go ahead and do my, let's go ahead and do a land claim. I'm getting my spreadsheet up. And we'll dive back into chat after this. These will be the numbers that you will see represent a full week of claim for me, because I've, with everything else going on, I have not claimed this week. In fact, I'm just looking at my spreadsheet. In fact, it's been 10 days since I claimed. So yeah, I lost some. So let's go ahead and do a claim here. In my region 1, like I said, I've been working with this over the last month, these regions, to increase what they're bringing in. Region 1, I have all rare plots, 3 grains, 2 woods, and all of them have totems on it as well. One wood plot has one of the special cards on it. Not very high leveled, I think level 3, but let's go ahead and do a harvest all. And off of that region, we'll get through this quick and get back to chat. I just needed to remember to do this, and I thought that some people might find this interesting. So from this region, I'm pulling 57,362 grain in profit. That's besides what I spend, in grain, actually keeping all the grain plots and wood plots producing. That's why we talk about this frequently, having enough grain production so you don't actually have to buy any off the market to do your claim. So that's always been my core principle on how I'm playing the game. I'm not saying, not investment advice, as I always say, but that's always been, Gathering and I talked about this at the very beginning, and it seems to be a core principle that we started out talking, and I still agree with it. And with those 2 plots of wood, I ended up with 18,108 wood. I also haven't sold anything lately, anything as far as grain or wood and everything. And we'll talk about that here in a minute after I do my harvest. For this region, I'm in deficit of 2,200 stone, so I'm going to go ahead and we are in Tostrington, and I want to trade some grain, and I'm just going to go with 2,500 stone. So I will be paying an extra 15,000 grain for 2,500 stone to convert. Let's go ahead and swap. Taking a little while. Okay. Now we can go back and do the claim all for this region, which is Tosterington 114. I've had a few people reach out and ask me if I want to buy more parcels. I'm always looking for a good deal. Now that I'm maybe losing my job, I don't know if I'm going to be buying any more land. In fact, I might sell a few pieces of land. I don't know. Okay, so in this region, I ended up with, besides the 15,000 I just paid for the stone, and besides all the grain that I have to use to feed all of my plots in this region, I've got I'm in the plus column, 77,248 grain. And we'll get back to chat here in a minute. 1,000. I don't have too much wood going on in this region. 728. Obviously no stone because I don't have any stone producing land. 505 iron, not too much. Although that does represent my only epic parcel of land in the game, and just mounting up some more aura that I'm not using. And we'll talk about here in a minute what my thought is on that going into the buildings, since Gathering had asked about that. I just wanted to get these claims completed, if you will humor me. Okay, and you will see in that region, I have totems on, I think, every single parcel here, and two of the parcels have level 6 land cards on them, so that's why you'll see the bonuses there. Okay, and this is where I have most of my land. This is Ravenwood 133. I have 4 plots of land that I have not done anything with. 1 plot of land that I've got a land card on, and the majority of these I also have common totems on. There's I think I have 2 or 3 rare totems sprinkled around, but they've gotten so expensive lately but I do know that I've always liked the idea of keeping at least common totems on my land. So let's go ahead and do a harvest all here, and I'm in the deficit about 2,500 stone. So let's do the same thing here and buy some stone, or trade for some stone rather, better way to put it. Since I have so much grain going on, I always just trade grain for stone. Let's just go ahead and do 3,000 stone, and I'm giving up 18,000 grain for 3,000 stone, thereabouts. Okay, now we can go back and do the claim all. Okay, so besides what I just traded for stone, the grain I traded 18,000, plus all the grain that I pay to feed all of this production going on, I'm still in the plus column on grain by 128,000. And I keep pointing this out just because it's a major point with me about not having to go. I do have to go on the market and buy stone, but I don't have to go on the market to buy grain to feed any of my workers. And that kind of goes into, and I'm 10,726 up on wood. That goes into my thoughts on going forward as the new buildings progress and when they go live. 1,405 iron, and that's just building up too because I haven't used any of this, and 1,746 aura. Okay. Now that completes us. Let's just go ahead and jump back and chat. Really, my thoughts on going forward into land. or better stated, going forward into um, the next update of land, is the fact that I really feel, and I need all the details about what's going to be released on buildings, right? But I really feel that I may not be going forward into buildings. Okay. I've spent so much money on my land presently that I may just be one of those people that produces raw materials and puts it on the market and sells it, and I'm fine with that. But with that said, when we look at the new details, I may change my mind, and we'll see the details on the buildings and everything. I like the idea of some of the stuff they've talked about in the white paper. It's just as it moves forward, it's just going to get more complicated and more complicated. And how I feel it, just going to cost more and more money per plot to keep those plots producing. Of course, the idea is that hopefully you put the money into the plots and they produce more value than what you're paying. Of course, right? That's the idea. However, I think at some points that you need to decide, well, I'm just done putting money into it. Now, I've always liked the idea of land. That's why I've kept buying. And at this point, I'm at 28 plots, 29. I've got 29 plots now because of that plot I just bought. Hey, Gathering, thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. I clicked the wrong window. Scroll down to that. Says, Gathering says, Happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for all you do. Keep on forging and have fun. I appreciate it. I love watching your episodes as well, too. I do appreciate it. Jumping back in chat to see what everybody's else saying. So, yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. The whole idea of going into the game and deciding where you want to exist in the land game if you want to play. If you are just new to the land game and you only have a few plots, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's great. I mean, I think the whole idea is that they're going to continue becoming more complicated and more levels going along in the game, but it's fine if you just want to exist like I'm thinking about at the bottom level and just producing natural resources and putting them into the market. Because the people that choose to go the next few levels above you in whatever they're producing, they need the natural resources. So if they're doing something else with their property, they'll have to buy it off of somebody else, right? So not everybody is a huge dog in the land game and has hundreds of parcels of lands and hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to put into the land game to be able to produce everything. So the idea has always been that most people cannot be self-sufficient. So there's going to be enough complexity in the land game so that everybody can exist at different planes. So it might be fine. Yeah, I've got 29 plots of land. I don't necessarily have to go up to keep going as they keep putting more money sinks into the game. I don't have to do that. I can just be fine running a bunch of farms. If you only have a few parcels. Hey, Bolts, welcome to the membership of the channel. Bolts just became a hatchling. I appreciate all the support of the channel. And I will mention that our members only, I bring up the calendar, our members only live stream will be the 27th, Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll put out a little tag on the channel reminding everybody of that week and plan it out. Bolts85 sending in a super chat. Thank you. I appreciate her super sticker. I don't know what the difference between those two are, but thanks for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it. So I like this whole idea of being able, like I said, to exist on multiple planes within the land game. So if I still need to make this episode or remake it because I went in and I started to make it and then I had to stop. But the whole idea is that if you have a few parcels of land, 2 or 3 parcels of land, you don't have to feel pressured to buy more land. If you just want to sit there and grow grain and sell it on the market and take what you can earn off of that, that's fine, because the market needs grain, right? And the market needs all of these resources. And when we go to build buildings, obviously there are no details out yet, but the buildings will take a variety of resources to create, right? And the people, especially on the top end, who want to go in and build out all these properties, will need resources that most likely they haven't produced. Now, obviously, there's the exception to the rule when you have a few people at the top end who have lots of plots of land staked out, but they've put a lot of money into the game to be able to do that. But most people that exist on the mid-level and below, like me, I needed stone to do my claims. So on a weekly basis, I have to go in and I have to buy stone off the market or trade for stone off the market from the liquidity pools from somebody like you who has a piece of land that's producing stone, right? So I like that whole idea, and I like how it's coming along. And I didn't get to read through it, but I know that Cryptomancer had put an announcement out to the Land Barons channel, which I'm not a member of yet, but he puts it out once in a while talking about how he's progressing. So he's progressing on buildings. I don't have the details, but things are coming along. It's one of those things that it'll take time. This whole project has taken a lot of time. Okay, so I've talked about a land a lot. Let's go ahead and jump back and see what everybody's talking about. Gathering says, love to see more people posting videos. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I like to see especially new people posting videos, as well as older creators who stopped posting on Splinterlands for a while and coming back. Lady Sharon says, man, stupid iPhone. Contest, not contrast. And Splinterlands. It was an auto spell thing. Don Knott says, yeah, way too many tokens. Yeah, and, it's an interesting discussion, and I'm not even going to pretend that I'm an expert or anything. It's just that, I think I agree with what Aftersound says. There's just way too much DEC out there, and we have to kind of keep what DEC is in the DAO, keep it there or burn it or somehow. I'm not an expert. We can have more people, if you're better at numbers than I am, chime in on that. But we will say, and I know Splinter Cards is not updated yet, but I think these tools are still keeping track of it. You can see the SPS. It went up. Obviously, people buying a lot of SPS to be able to buy the new card packs for the best price, and now it's back down to where it was, right? And DEC is down a little bit too. So I've always said that this is Splinterlands is a type of job that half of it is actually coming up with a good game to play and figuring out how to advance that game and keep people interested in the game and keep new features coming into the game and working that. The other half of it is figuring out how to keep the crypto part of that going, the DAO part of that going. And it takes people with a lot better mathematician skills than me to keep that going. So I've never even tried to guess at that, and my channel is not like a financial channel, and like I've always said, I've never approached it as a I've primarily looked at it as a gaming point of view, because I didn't want to get into it and people think that I'm advising them to put money into the game for investment purposes, which this is not an investment. I mean, to some it is, but I do not give out investment advice. So that's for sure. Sharon says, well, to be fair, I don't remember seeing that share on Social's channel. I just kind of got to the contest from an announcement and that there's a new contest channel. Discord hides a lot of channels. Yeah, I believe so, and I don't know why. Oh, and that's a whole big old thing on what Discord is going to start requiring now. There was a big announcement that came out that uh, it's beginning of next month, beginning of March, if they can't behind the scenes verify that you're an adult, um, you're going to be put under the teenager settings so that uh, you, I don't know, you can't view some content on Discord. And that goes into a whole thing. I'm not going to get into it, but most of what Splinterlands stuff on Discord, I don't. It's not a mature type of audience. I mean, yeah, I guess we would argue we're mature, but you know what I mean. That no mature kind of content. It's just talking about gaming and stuff like that. So I don't think we really have anything to worry about there. But it's a big old discussion about providing, either facial scans or scan of your ID, and the fact that Discord just went through a big hit, a leak of where they lost a bunch of IDs and personal information and stuff. So yeah, so that's an interesting, and that just kind of came out of the back of my head because I was watching a video on that earlier from Pharaoh Silver, who covers play to earn type stuff. Okay. Sharon goes on to say, well, honestly, playing on some tournaments that are conclave only without ghost cards, I miss the rebellion cards that I have most are like delegated to me from forever ago, and I was going to buy. Yeah, that's the interesting thing that you'll run into different tournaments that are set up different ways, and sometimes you can use. And when you get those cards that you usually rely upon taken away from you, then you take a serious hit, right? So always look at what the tournament includes and consider that whether you want to join that tournament or not. Lady Sharon says, some of my favorites, but I don't know if I should bother, so I actually think that they take the time on the next set. Uh, do, do, do. Wibble says that they might spend their aura on the Clove raffle thing. Not for sure. Yeah, that's another thing that is coming up. I noticed that it was in the news here. If you look at the updates, they started including little news bits here. And the Gold Foil Arcane Cloveria draw starts soon. Do you have your fortune tickets? So he's talking about buying some fortune tickets for that Cloveria draw. Pretty cool looking card. I like it. I don't have one, but it looks pretty cool. Sharon says, wow, I'm lazy playing on my phone and got into bronze one, and now I can't get an opponent 3+ minute wait. Yeah, sometimes that happens if you have the bots turned off. She says she went to cancel and I didn't have an opponent for some reason. It still looked like it was looking for an opponent, but it found one and I lost the match. Wibble says some of my greatest wins were fleas, where they fled from me, and that's also why you always want to make sure you put in all of your guild brawls, because the more guild brawls you have covered as a guild, and the higher percentage of people that actually put in all their brawls, some of them, a certain percentage of them, end up being fleas, which are free wins, right? So. Gathering says he needs to do more land videos, how I'm preparing for what I think the next stage of land will require. Yeah. Everybody's got a different view. I think we need a little bit more information, Obviously, we know that buildings are going to come out, and we kind of have the skeleton view of it from the white paper of what that's going to look like. But I need to know more details, like how much of each material is going to cost, and I'm sure they're still working out. He's probably doing the back end stuff right now, and then the rest of the team, whoever works on that, is talking about how much is going to be required to build those buildings, and what's going to be the output of the buildings. What's going to make it worth it to me as a land guy to want to build that building on my property instead of just, keeping producing baseline materials, right? There's got to be some incentive. If you say, Bronze Dragon, I want you to go ahead and build the next building on that land, and it's going to cost you an extra $10 or $15 per property to do that, why is that worth it to me? What's it going to produce? Obviously, it would have to produce something at a, that's worth more, where I can make more money off of, right? OFG, I know I'm behind in chat. I'm always am, just for some reason. I like to talk about each thing, and sometimes I talk a little bit more than I should probably. OFG says, I'm building my LP holdings up. I want those trading fees when buildings come. Nice. And there's some other things that have mentioned in the white paper and has been talked about along the way that you can do as a person with only a few properties. So don't feel that if you only have 2 or 3 properties or one, that you're not going to be able to make a dent in the game. You can, and those things are going to come out as we go forward. And I think that as we go forward with the more buildings built, that there's going to be a little bit more emphasis on people who have only a few plots. And the reason I mean is because if some of those ideas they've talked about in the white paper come to fruition, like, hey, you need to build a grain silo on your land and you could possibly rent it out to somebody that needs more storage, you could just build a grain silo on your land and rent it out to one of the big dogs who needs more grain storage, right? That's a free win for you, or other things. Like I said, just build, just harvesting grain and selling it on the market or whatever. So there's a number of things. If you only have a few plots of land, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm not going to make a dent in it, because, just start out slowly and, do whatever is fun to you, right? I guess that's the best. So Bolt says, my face when I take the first sip of energy drink. Here you go, Bolts. Still me with my sparkling ice. I drink it because it's got vitamins in it, and it's only got 5 calories. It doesn't have any sugar in it, and I only drink like a couple a week, so. Usually I'm drinking coffee. Sharon says, that reminds me, revisiting this currently, I just stockpile grain and then sell it at one time for DEC. Should I rethink the actual market? It would require me staking more DEC, though, not just for grain. Not just grain, rather. Well, my take on this is that I am stocking up. In other words, I'm just mounting up. I'm not buying, but I'm not selling. So everything I claim is just mounting up. This is not investment advice. And my point here is that just like last time, there was a surge. The last time something happened in the land game and people needed them. Oh, for the card creations. Okay, for the land card creations. When that came about, people needed materials. So the price went way up on grain and the various materials somewhat. So my plan is that I'm just stocking up. And then when we get to the actual building of the buildings, I'm going to decide if I don't want to build buildings, then I'm just going to start doing some sell-offs at that point when the price is rising. And I'm just going to use a standard kind of stock selling or whatever selling, coin selling kind of mechanism where you just, as you see it start going up, you just start selling a little bit, selling a certain increment on a daily basis. And this brings in, I'm never going to see, with my luck, I don't pay attention enough to hit the peak, right? So I do the dollar cost averaging thing. So if I see it going up, then I'm just going to start selling off like 10% on a daily basis or something like that, right? Just a little bit on a daily basis, and I can watch it go up, and I've earned my profit a little bit, and then there'll be a certain average that I've earned along the way, right? And then it'll start going back down after most of the buildings have been built. There'll be a certain period of time where all of the materials will go for a higher price because people are going to build their buildings, right? and they'll need to buy or trade for those off of the market. And then after most of the people have built the buildings that they want to, then the price will probably start going back down again. So the idea is to try to take advantage when you see that price start to go up. And usually that's going to be right before. So say, for instance, Cryptomancer came out and they announced, okay, buildings are going to go live, whatever, X day. Then probably several weeks before that, after they initially announced it, then those prices will start to go up if history repeats itself, which it usually does in Splinterlands. So it stands to reason, just like SBS here, right? They announced that the new mini set that went up for pre-sale this week the best deal was going to be an SBS. So several weeks before this went live, the pre-sale went live, SBS price started going up. And then after the major sell-off, or, the majority of the people got what they needed, then SPS is going down. Same kind of idea. Not investment advice. I know, I'm not a singer. Gathering says, don't be surprised when buildings come out. If we can level them up to level 10 right away, the large landowners will drain the market of resources to level theirs up. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Millions of each resource will disappear. Yeah, we'll see when that goes live, we'll see a big change in the market. It'll be high, as they call it, highly volatile. Bolt says, I'll do Espanol version, of Splinterlands. Did I do that good? I don't know a whole lot of Spanish. I know enough to buy beer. Gathering the Magic says, maybe a basic question, but how many ways does DEC get burnt? It can be staked out on land, but it's still there. How is it burnt? I would have to look into that. But the whole idea, and I would have to look into this, the whole idea that Aftersound had, and he had quoted like billions of DEC and stuff like that. The whole idea that I got from that video was there's just way too much DEC out there. And until we figure out a way to get rid of a lot of DEC, SPS will not pump. Okay. I think if you've been playing for a while, you see that the different coins, the tokens, they pump whenever there's a use for them. So like a build-up for this pre-sale. So DEC will pump if, there's a pre-sale for something or other, or they're doing a burning mechanism or something like that. SPS will pump when there's a card sale or something like that coming up for that. But then after that specific use, then it goes back down. So I think his overall idea was that there's just too much DEC on the market and too much DEC overall out there. And until we get rid of a lot of it, then SPS, that true, I hate that term flywheel, but that flywheel mechanism will not engage again, where you can burn SPS to get DEC, right? If there's too much DEC out there, you don't need to burn SPS to get DEC, right? And therefore, not burning it keeps the price down, among other things. Like I said, not a mathematician, not a crypto tokenomics expert. Bolt says, we need salt. Put salt in your purchase for... Oh, don't get me started on salt, Bolts. I've never really liked that idea. You know what? Overall, I don't like the idea of continuing to use land as the dumping ground for the problems of the game at large. Okay? I think the game, for a long time, has encountered this. Oh, we've got this problem. Whatever this problem is, okay, let's put it on the back of the land players. Don't get me started. I've never liked the idea of salt. OFG says, every time we trade, I believe it burns a bit of DEC. Yes, it does. Small percentage. And when posting cards in the market, yeah, very small amount. They had to start doing that because of the bots were posting millions of cards for sale. I'm trying to think if there are any other sync. Wibble says Wild Pass, tournament entries, and liquidity pool fees. This is correct. This is true. Thanks for bringing that up. Gathering says, I think going forward, they need to eliminate burning cards for DEC. Can burn for glint or cinder only. Well, I've got to be honest with you. I wouldn't burn real cards for glint or cinder, really. I mean, outside of specific uses, say, for instance, like the land cards where we did the cinder, I guess. But I don't know. I think that's a holdover idea from the original game when it first started out that, hey, you could have a card, you could win a card off the game, and if you couldn't sell it, you could always burn it for DEC, right? Bolt says, I know Alex T will have so much fun trolling and sprinkling a little bit of salt to all landowners. Yeah, there seem to be some people out there that have a little bit of hate for us landowners. Gathering says no more DEC inflation, force more people to burn SPS for DEC. Well, that's the whole flywheel type idea. Okay, I know that there was a whole bunch of chat that I didn't get to bring up, but we are at the bottom of the hour. So I wanted to say I appreciate everybody who dropped by episode 148 of the Saturday Morning Stand-Up. I hope everyone has a great Valentine's Day, and go out and, depending upon what your idea for the Escalation set is, don't forget to get yourself some pre-sale. Not quite halfway. Got a good start going, but I anticipate some fireworks on the last day of the sale as always. So I appreciate you stopping by. This has been Bronze Dragon, and hey, look, I've got another match coming up. But as always, have a great week, and I will see you in Splinterlands.